And if you're looking
No.
to switch it up even more, boom, go from third person to first person just like that. Plus, there's plenty of variety in the gameplay, which means that you can either attack or defend in the new 2v2 mode. You and a friend or a random partner can go head to head against another team of two. This time, opposed to the main gameplay, you choose 3 unique characters from the deck of 6, and then your partner gets to handle the rest before the competition. But folks, we all know that playing the game speaks so much louder than anything I say here, so try it out now with the link in the description. Better yet, that link will net you some pretty sweet rewards in game, so give it a whack, it's completely free, now it's time to attack. Thanks, Frag. Off the bat, mining with your fist is the most basic way to dig a hole. And honestly, it's a few steps away from just pure suffering. Sure, when you're digging dirt and blocks that are instant mined works fine, but as soon as you start to hit the stone level, it's completely pointless. You're just wasting your time. Because as everyone knows, it's best to just stop hurting your hand and put that effort somewhere else, such as crafting some new tools. And with those, we get ourselves a one-way ticket to dig straight down. And hey, as far as straightforward efficiency, there's not much that really rivals this. Simple. The fastest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. So obviously, it works the same in Minecraft. And although this might technically be one of the faster ways to get yourself down to bedrock, it's not exactly the safest. All it takes is a patch of lava or even a ravine to make that whole process not worthwhile. And overall, there's just too many ways to turn this from a mining trip into digging your own grave. If you want to sacrifice some speed for safety, then digging too wide straight down is definitely the way to go. By lining yourself up just right in between two different blocks, you aren't going to use double the durability that you would in a one-by-one hole. But if you do have some lava underneath you, then regardless of which one of those blocks you mine, you're going to be fine. And really, that extra bit of hesitation is worthwhile regardless of the situation. While digging straight down is reliable when you're just starting out, or maybe if you're off somewhere in the middle of nowhere, as soon as you get a proper mine set up, then obviously you're going to be doing it with a beacon. And for good reason. Mining with Haste 2 and Efficiency 5 on a diamond or netherite pickaxe is insane. The level of speed that you do with this thing is damn near unmatched. And really, it doesn't matter if you're digging down, up, sideways, anything you do is going to work fine with this. As long as you're in the beacon's range, you've got full range to take out an entire chunk of blocks. And as far as a way to collect resources and do a large-scale mining project, there's really nothing that rivals it. Although, if you're looking to shrink your mining footprint, then maybe even crawl mining's a better option. In recent updates, we've been able to take a trapdoor or even a piston, flip it upside down, and all of a sudden, we're able to walk at 1 block high. And besides adding even more claustrophobia to the caves, this is actually a really effective way to clear out some space in the mine. And as far as the math checks out, this is also a very effective way to do branch mining for diamonds. Partner that with the same Haste 2 and Efficiency 5 that you use in your quarries, and you can really tear through some of the world with this. And better yet, you're not even restricted to one level. If you make yourself a staircase using snow layers and half slabs, you're actually able to go down and have a multi-level base cleared out underneath the world. It's pretty cool. Although, maybe you're not a fan of the quaint 1 block high style of mining, in which case, doing it with creepers is an obvious choice. I mean, look at these things. They dig the holes themselves. How can you beat that? Whether you're using another mob or a flint and steel to trigger them, or hey, maybe you just got too close to one of them, they're going to do a fine job at clearing out that space, even if it looks a little ugly at first. Although, why would you go through all of that manpower to bring on creeper construction workers, when for that same effort you could kill a couple and get an even better blast source? Because let me tell you, TNT is a versatile block. And even in the most basic sense of lighting it up with a flint and steel or redstone signal, it still packs quite the punch. Plus, it cooperates so much better than those creeper divas. As long as you take a couple steps back out of the blast zone, this is definitely a solid operation to use. Although, maybe you're trying to cover a bit more ground. In which case, no worries. Add 5 iron to the backside of that TNT, and all of a sudden you've got a pretty convincing minecart to do the job. Although, one of these by itself is not doing a lot of work. If you're looking for true mayhem on the blast site, then stack up a couple of these on the same rail. And from there, all it takes is one simple push, and your whole operation is going to be looking a lot holier. And by that I mean it's just a giant hole. Enjoy. But if recklessly obliterating your world isn't in your vision, then a TNT dispenser is probably more in your catalog. You see, with this, you
It pops. It's time.
You see, with this, you don't have to worry about setting it off yourself. Really, all you need to do is just set up the clock, fill up the dispenser, and you're off for a good time. Plus, it keeps you separate from the explosions and your hands completely free when the cops show up. And if you're looking to distance yourself even more from the blast range, then a TNT cannon system is the pinnacle of that. It uses the same concepts as the TNT dispenser, except in this case, we're using TNT to shoot off the TNT. Honestly, this is a perfect choice for your pirate ship and castle cannon needs. That is, until your TNT runs out. See, the problem with using dispensers is that we're eating through so much TNT as we go. And unless you got a killer gunpowder farm and sand in your storage, you're not making a lot of that. In which case, we gotta start talking about TNT duplication. As one of the most useful glitches in Minecraft, this thing can do so much work for clearing out a landslide. All of a sudden, resource management's not an issue, which means we can completely automate this system without even having to worry about it. And better yet, using the same concepts that we have in the cannon system, you can actually drop these on a blast-resistant platform and then have it fan out by having TNT explode even more TNT. All of a sudden, the range of holes that we can dig with TNT duping goes through the roof. And that rocket ship reaches its peak when we start to talk about world eaters. To you technical players out there, this is a common sight. You've probably used them once or twice when trying to clear out a witch farm. But the idea here is that we're using flying machines and TNT carpet bombing to just completely eat away the world. And frankly, I don't know if this packs more of a punch for the landscape or your server's computer. But when it comes to leveling through your world, there's nothing that really comes close. And this carpet bombing monstrosity is definitely a top pick from this list. Although, if you're a fan of flying machines, but not so much of the whole destroying the whole landscape of carpet bombing, there is still an option for you. And that's right, we can actually use flying machines to extract blocks as we go. And folks, I know this looks ridiculous, but the fact that it even works cracks me up to no end. I mean, look at this thing. Clearly it's not the fastest, but the fact that we're able to take your diamonds out in this method, it's just too good to pass up on. Plus, you can ride the thing. You gotta build one of these right now, honestly. That said, it does have some competition. We can't talk about peeling apart the world one block at a time without talking about Endermen. Granted, they're not the most cooperative of workers, and even worse still, they're not going to take any blocks that are below them. So you have to get them started by having them actually take blocks that are beside them. But as soon as you cage enough Endermen and let them get started on that world, it's going to eat away pretty quick. And time lapses of this thing are both the most chaotic and satisfying things I've seen in the game. And while it might not be in your company's mining budget to bring a whole bunch of Enderman labor through the portal, it's worth doing at least once. But as far as mob labor goes for different dimensions, my pick's gotta go ghasts. And yes, I'll admit, they're just as annoying to work with, if not more than creepers. But honestly, just look at how one of these ghast fireballs can tear through the landscape. It's pretty great to see. And unlike a creeper, it's multi-use. If you've got enough time, you can use that gas to tear up through that entire bit of landscape you mean to get rid of. Although, I will admit, they're better suited for taking out blocks in the nether than they are in the overworld. Just like mining with your fist, as soon as they hit that stone level, they're completely useless. And if you're going to go through all that time to bring one of them over to the overworld, you're better off just focusing on getting a charged creeper. Now, these creatures know how to dig a hole. And while sure, lightning isn't exactly easy to come by, if you got yourself a channeling trident and a thunderstorm overhead, you're able to get so many blocks cleared out with one of these things. And who knows, maybe we can get some mob heads thrown in the mix, making it an even better way to tear through that mountain. Yes, they do still have the same issues that creepers do, if not tenfold more from all the damage they pack. But hey, you still set them off with flint and steel, and if you're out of that blast radius, they do clear out plenty of blocks if you need them to. Really, there's only one thing that's on par with them, and unfortunately for the charged creepers, it's a lot easier to come by. Because if we find ourselves in the nether or the end, then a bed is going to do so much more for clearing through the blocks. With obvious upsides, such as the fact that we get to choose when it explodes, this is definitely a better pick. And while there are obvious reasons to worry about the damage of this thing, we can see in 1.16, there's plenty of safe ways to get mileage out of this thing. Like, make yourself a 5-block tunnel, place one at the end, and boom, you're going to be finding yourself some ancient debris. As long as you take the version. You still have that same kind of explosive chaos in the overworld, albeit a bit more expensive to get. A respawn anchor is a one-way ticket to do so. If you have the Prime Obsidian and Glowstone to spare, this is a pretty great way to be that in the overworld or the end. But remember to keep in mind the same restrictions we had for the bed. Otherwise, the whole operation's going to go somewhere south. But maybe that's not enough to you. Maybe you want to cause damage to not only yourself, but all the other mobs around. Well, throw together 3 black skulls and some soul sand, and that wither boss will do so much work to the terrain. Even just spawning in the thing is sure to clear out plenty of blocks around you. And then, of course, you'll have to deal with the added bonus of getting fired at from the wither. But if you're a bit more enterprising, you can actually put the wither to good use this way. You see, when the wither takes damage, it breaks blocks around it. So if you get it suffocating,
Oh my god!
break blocks in a nearby vicinity. This kind of madness can be used for not only tunnel systems, but also for making fully functional machine tunnels. But the question is, with all this block breaking, what about if the blocks want to break you? And curiously enough, there's an answer for that. By getting ourselves an even number of silverfish, such as with the spawners we find next to the portal.
Oh my god.
While it might sound like a death wish, this is a fully functional way to have them dig a hole for you. All you gotta do is wait for them to infest every piece of stone, damage one of their brothers, and all the world will crumble around you. Is that more the previous way to dig a hole? Honestly, I'm gonna be seeing all these silverfish in my nightmares. Oh god. So after you've quit the game after that nightmare escape, don't log in just yet, because there's actually a way to dig holes in Minecraft without even playing Minecraft. If you're able to run an instance of Minecraft on a nearly filled hard drive, which we can emulate by using a flash drive, interesting things start to occur. You'll particularly see this in older versions of the game, but when you log into the world and you're trying to generate without space, it doesn't know what to do with certain chunks. So what will start to happen is when you log in and back out, chunks will just randomly be taken out of the world and placed somewhere else, giving us a newly functioning hole inside of the landscape. Now, I'm not expecting this to become a common way to dig holes in Minecraft. But what is cool though is when you free up that drive, you can actually keep that
Finally,
same
my
part of the world you just
guide.
destroyed. But folks, we haven't even thrown creative mode commands into the mix. For that matter, I gotta cover one before the comments eat me alive. And that is, if you type in a field command like such, you can just have the world be replaced with air. Boom, now you got an instant hole. Although, I gotta say, if you're using commands in Minecraft, this has to be one of the most boring ways to use your creative mode privileges. It's quick, it's painless, it's easy. But hey, some people just want to watch the world burn. And for that matter, you can actually do that. Fill up that exact place of the world with some form of flammable block. You can use wood, you can use wool, whatever. And then just set it ablaze as quick as you want. And if you got fire tick enabled in a high enough difficulty,